Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! I truly have had the time of my life being a content creator for Descendants and Zombies because I had the chance to touch your hearts for how I told this story. Unquestionably, I wanted to tell this story very differently. I wanted to give you character breakdowns and reviews and predictions along with everything else that came with being a fan of Descendants and Zombies to allow you to see something special in the videos that I created because I knew that critics and journalists weren't going to feel the same way. They were going to find whatever they could to criticize about Descendants and Zombies without ever giving it much of a chance. From its music, to its story, to its characters, to the people who brought these characters to life. And I wanted to give something special back to every single person who ever believed in Descendants and Zombies. I had been a Disney fan ever since I could remember. Ever since I had a heartbeat and I could talk and I knew what Disney was. I've always been a fan of Disney. That's the reason why you see all this Disney merch behind me. That's why I obviously feel very passionate about the topics I discuss on this channel, because I really do believe that when you speak about something like Disney or Descendants of Zombies, you've truly got to put your heart and your dedication behind everything that you say, so that somebody out there can be given confidence in believing what they believe in. Because I know I have people who are subscribed to or who are fans of Tangled, who have been fans of Frozen and High School Musical, the series, and I think that's really cool because that shows passion, and that shows how much you believe in what you've been a fan of for what feels like your entire life. Many of you grew up on Descendants and Zombies. Now, I never had the chance to grow up on something as powerful as Descendants and Zombies. I grew up in a generation that was very different. We never really had a Disney Channel star to see a hero in. It wasn't until Miley Cyrus and Selena Gomez first showed up in 2006 that we started seeing heroes being promoted on Disney Channel, with the Disney Channel signatures, with the music they would write, the characters they would bring to life, and then years later came Descendants of Zombies, and millions of people felt more passionate about this franchise and this concept than anything Disney had ever created previously. Pretty much what happens is 500 people will meet in a board meeting on a Friday morning and they will come up with a concept. They will put that concept down in front of a table and they will say, how do you think people are going to respond to this? So they will develop it in a one-time installment, which is pretty much a one-shot deal, and they will put it out on Disney Channel and Disney Plus, and they will wait for us to respond to it phenomenally. And when we finally do, and we give them the response they're searching for, they start offering expansions, future installments, more opportunities for the stars, and unquestionably these stars blew up because you guys saw something special in people like Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson's characters. Characters that had no backstory whatsoever, that they were given the responsibility and the distinction are really bringing to life. And now many years later, 5 years after a 5-year hiatus was seen, here comes Descendants: The Rise of Red. And Kylie Cantrell puts together this really different character, this really different VK that we had never seen before. She never really cared what anybody thought of her. She had a very different personality. All she wanted to do was paint the town red, which was a pretty catchy catchphrase, I must admit, and I pretty much fell in love with it. I fell in love with Kylie Cantrell's strength. I fell in love with Kylie Cantrell's dedication to bringing this character to life and how much the red character would go on to mean to her heart, because this was a definitive role for Kylie Cantrell. I remember her being 9 years old, watching her grow up and being such a huge fan of things like Hannah Montana, Sam and Cat, Victorious, and she would record these videos on YouTube just having one dream, to have the chance to be a part of it. Take it from a guy who was the biggest Victoria Justice fan in the world. I had the biggest crush in the world on Victoria Justice. If there were 55 episodes of Victorious, which I think there was something around there, I watched all 55 of them. If not 55, 54 of them, which meant every Friday night I would sit in front of my TV, which was the only night of the week at the time you could watch the latest episode of Victorious, and I was so excited to see what was going to happen next for people like Victoria Justice and Ariana Grande, who I knew from the moment that I saw her was going to go on to become something so special. I remember in 2012, when I would record audio logs for YouTube, I would say that the Victorious cast was the most talented cast that I ever seen in my life. But now, 15 years later, I say that same thing, if not more, about your Descendants of Zombies cast. Because if there ever was a chance to be a part of a future and to be a part of something so magical, I think Descendants of Zombies provides us with that chance more than any other franchise ever has. We remember how popular Hannah Montana was for its music, for its merch that came along with being a fan, the jackets, the guitars, the dolls. we remember everything that everybody felt so passionate about Hannah Montana. And if you couldn't get a ticket to a Hannah Montana performance, you pretty much felt lost because everybody wanted a Hannah Montana concert ticket. It was the hottest commodity in town. And now everybody feels the same way, if not more passionate, about Descendants of Zombies Worlds Collide Tour tickets, or tickets to Freya Sky's Stars Align World Tour, which I'm more than proud to see Freya Sky and Kylie Control being a part of and really accomplishing, really setting goals for themselves and achieving their dreams. Because that's all I've ever wanted to be a part of, is ensuring the legacies of your favorite stars. That's precisely what I'm here to do. And that's why often I've thanked people for showing up at my door every year on Halloween dressed up as their favorite Descendants of Zombies characters, because you gave me the chance to experience something so special and to be a part of it. It may have taken me forever to fall in love with Descendants of Zombies after researching it one night when you guys showed up at my door on Halloween, but I never had any regrets since I became a fan of Descendants of Zombies, because I quickly realized why this franchise was so cool and why millions of people felt so passionate about it. Now, while my parents were very supportive of me being a radio show host, I wanted to, do something more. I wanted to create a YouTube channel where I could be seen and I could also be heard by more people than ever before. And after having been accepted by the niche of Descendants of Zombies, I had that chance. I don't think there's a Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel that creates this content that has as many subscribers for the columns and the blogs that are created here on this YouTube channel. Do you guys remember that show Dog with a Blog, where the dog would write blogs every episode? Well, pretty much that's what this channel reminds me of, how that dog wanted his blog to be read online by more people and to have more subscribers than ever before. My greatest dream and my hope for the future is that every fan of Descendants of Zombies is eventually going to subscribe here to this YouTube channel. Now, while that may be a long way away from ever happening and me achieving my dream of defeating Mr. Beast and becoming the greatest content creator of all time, surpassing Mr. Beast with 458 million subscribers, while that may be a long way away from ever happening for me, I know there is nothing that you cannot do if you have the love and support of every fan of Descendants of Zombies out there. And that's something that I've obtained because of this YouTube channel. Everybody who's ever watched one of my videos on their phone, apparently everybody's watching it on their TV, because that's the most used device apparently to watch Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. So let's say you guys are watching Jonathan Clarke on your TV. That's really cool, because everybody who's watched Jonathan Clarke on their TV, Jonathan Clarke on YouTube, oh no, is taking something special away from every video that Jonathan Clarke ever creates. And that's all I ever wanted to be a part of. I remember when I was a radio show host starting in 1999, and I was the co-host of a lot of radio shows. So as a result of being a co-host, you could never say what was going on. You could never tell everybody how you felt. You pretty much had to sit in front of a teleprompter and say what they wanted you to say. Or you had to say what your co-host wanted you to say, the host of the show pretty much that you were putting over. So it wasn't until I launched my own YouTube channel from my home, which this is pretty much my studio, which I know is my room, but it wasn't until I launched my own show that I could tell my own story for how I felt about it and hope that people were going to subscribe here. And you know something? I've surpassed all of my competition that I thought I had. Unfortunately for them, this YouTube channel has exploded in popularity. People said I would never make it in this industry, but I did, because I had the love and support of every fan of Descendants of Zombies who saw something special in every video that I ever created. You know, the only hope, now a lot of YouTube creators will never tell you this, but the only hope a content creator has on YouTube is that somebody's going to hit their subscribe button or hit their like button. That's the only hope I've ever had. So every time I upload a video, when somebody subscribes here or somebody hits the like button, that means the world to me, because it shows how much you appreciate how I feel about Kylie Contrell, who did not deserve to be criticized the way that she had felt she was criticized. It got to the point where Kylie Control refrained from watching videos on social media platforms because of how people felt about her. And I think more could have been done about that. We could have really put ourselves out there to really present a more, friendlier vibe, a more confident vibe in Kylie Control's future, because the one thing I've loved seeing about Kylie Control is her having fun. And I can never seem to see enough opportunities to see your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars having fun. They're so appreciative of their friendships, the time they spend together on the set of Descendants of Zombies. So that's to be cherished. And that's to forever be honored. Because no matter who we are, when we talk about the friendship of Malia Baker and Kylie Contrell, we've all had that one friend who we probably have a scattered argument with, we never really see eye to eye with, But at the end of the day, what proves to be true when they come back to, say hi to you or to try to patch up differences, what proves to be true is that one friend that you may have had countless fights with is the one friend that always understands you and will forever and always be by your side and forever supportive of what you believe in. It could have something to do with a relationship that isn't really going right. It could have something going on in your personal life that the only friend that you have understands. And that's what makes you value these friendships. And that's what we see in these friendships of Kylie Cantrell and Amelia Baker. Now, I know there have been a lot of rumors about their friendship and how it's gone south because of what happened with Malachi Burton. I know. I've read and I've heard it all, but I've never really believed it because they seem just as close as they were probably a year and a half ago. Nothing has really changed. They are still supportive of each other, and I find time in supporting that. And as long as people remain passionate about Descendants of Zombies, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a fan of Descendants of Zombies or whoever you're a fan of, because no matter who we are, we've all taken something special away from the stories that Freya Sky, Kylie Cantrell, Malia Baker have shared with us on these vlogs and at these meet and greets, and we've all come out in unison out of love and support for Descendants of Zombies. Do you guys know every night at the Worlds Collide Tour, 19 to 20,000 people showed up for the tour, and every single person who was in attendance at that tour took something special away from it. It was really a moment that we wish could have lasted for forever. You guys were taking pictures of yourself with your friends, with your selfie sticks, and you were uploading them to social media, and you were having so much fun at the Worlds Collide Tour. And that was the one thing that I wanted you guys to go out and do, was have fun. I wanted you to outshine these critics, and I'm going to tell you guys something. You guys really glowed at the Worlds Collide Tour, and you have every reason to be proud in yourselves. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to encourage you to continue on pursuing your dreams and to be more proud of yourselves than ever before, because you are the reason behind the success of these stars. Why do you think Freya Sky has 500,000 subscribers on Spotify? It comes back to each and every one of you. I would love to have 500,000 subscribers just like Freya. I know it's a long way away from ever happening, but it shows how passionate you are about Freya, because every single one of those 500,000 subscribers is one person who believes in Freya Sky with all of their heart, and that deserves to be commended. That deserves to be honored. And that's all I've ever wanted to be a part of, while having the chance to share with you my story about how I wanted to be Shrimpy in the Worlds Collide Tour. Now, I know that costume is really warm and really huge and probably difficult to dance in, but I always wanted to have the chance to dance on stage with a bunch of zombies. And to be honest with you guys, it looked really cool. It looked like they were having the time of their life. And all I've ever wanted to do is be a part of something special with thousands of people who saw something special in every single time that Freya Sky dressed up as Tinkerbell, heard something special in every lyric that Freya Sky may have ever sang. She says that the song Silent Treatment was one of her favorite songs that she had ever written because it was a song about how a person feels ghosted. And I know there are more people out there who feel the same way every single time a person ignores them or never texts them back or never shows up on time. I know we've all felt that way. So it goes back to how these songs that Freya is releasing in 2026 is so relatable to so many wonderful people, because the one thing I noticed about these reaction videos for songs like Silent Treatment were that people were always taking something special away from it and finding time and relating to it through sharing their stories with each and every one of you. Very few content creators share stories with you guys to bring their channels to life, and that's the one thing I've always wanted to do, is tell a story and bring it to life in such an emphatic way. And I had the chance to do that because I just felt so passionate about Descendants of Zombies and everything I had the chance to be a part of with Disney. Now, for me, it may go all the way back to 1994, when franchises like Aladdin and Hercules were at the heights of their popularity, and Disney was in this era where they would release video games based off their most successful franchises. So if you ever watched the movie, you had to play the game. And I played virtually every single one of them, from Aladdin to Hercules to Tarzan. Tarzan was actually one of my favorite games ever created. It was the final installment of the Disney Renaissance era, and we all took something special away from the heroes that were in these stories, because for every hero there had to be a villain. For every villain to exist, there had to be a hero. And I really appreciate how villains have had a greater appreciation shown for them through the years of their lore and their history that tie into these fairy tale stories that have been told, such as Sleeping Beauty and Alice in Wonderland. I have forever waited on the character Alice to show up in the Descendants series. I still have a hope that we could see her probably by Descendants 6. I really don't know. Probably by Descendants 5 with Wonderland. We could see some entry of characters that we never ever expected. I can guarantee you, while I don't know what's happening in Descendants 5 with Wonderland, I can promise you that we are going to see something that we have never ever seen before. Perhaps in terms of a new character or the introduction of this new villain, Red having a sister. We're going to see something we have never seen before. And looking ahead in the very near future, we have Zombies 5. And even if it means only a year and a half until Zombies 5, that means I'm just going to have to upload videos every day for the rest of my life and have so much fun doing it. I've had the time of my life creating videos for thousands of people who love Descendants of Zombies with all their hearts. And the one thing I've always wanted to encourage is that if you've ever had a dream, you should pursue those dreams and continue to set goals for yourself, because when you get that feeling of realizing your dream, there is no greater feeling in the world. I never imagined that this YouTube channel would have had the profound honor of going on to become everybody's favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel, but it did, because of how I told this story and how I showed so much respect to your favorite characters. Many of you guys who have been subscribed to my YouTube channel for forever know that I feel very passionate about Ruby Rose Turner for how kind the girl was. There was just something about Ruby being so genuinely sweet that I love so much, and I chose her as my favorite character, and I've always wanted Ruby to know that she did a fabulous job bringing that character, Bridget, to life, and for what she did for that character. It was so cool seeing her illustrate how much further kindness can really take a person, also how much of a profound impact bullying can really have on a person's life. And I've just wanted to encourage that the messages of these stars were by far so powerful, probably more powerful than we ever gave them credit for, and I think they still have a long way to go because they are really figuring out their place in the world. And, you know, you really got to think about what would you do if you were in the same situation as these stars, you know, waking up to so much criticism that you had to watch about yourself on YouTube. I think as content creators, we can really give something special back to them so that if they are watching videos, you can have the hope they're going to watch one of your videos, and at least you know that something you said in your video is something nice to encourage them and to encourage their fans to perhaps believe in them more than ever before. I've really had the time of my life being the host of this show, and I look forward to hosting the show in the very near future. Because given how many fans of Descendants of Zombies I have already met, I still have so many wonderful fans of Descendants of Zombies that I have yet to meet. And I'm looking forward to being a part of that future and sharing in that future with so many wonderful people who feel very passionate about music, who love the story, who can never seem to get enough of what's going to happen next for characters such as Zed and Addison. We know Zed and Addison's story pretty much has reached its conclusion, but we are setting ourselves up for a very beautiful generation of zombies where a new story is going to be told between Victor Anova, Freya Skye, and Malachi Burton. And a lot of us are really excited about that. So because a lot of us are really excited about it, I think we can give more people more of a reason to be excited about Zombies 5 and what's going to be seen. I think there's going to be a beautiful story. I think there's going to be more supernatural characters than ever before, not just mermaids, but the door has been more widely left open than perhaps ever before to see more than just mermaids see their introduction into this franchise. Probably sirens, probably witches. There's so much. And I think that it gives us more of a reason to be excited about it more than ever before. I've always been a fan of Descendants of Zombies, and I've loved showcasing it, and I've loved sharing it with each and every one of you. The futures of these franchises is something that I am undeniably excited to be a part of with thousands of people who obviously have taken something special away from Descendants of Zombies and its lore and its history, because there is so much of an extensive history to be really appreciative of when it comes to Descendants of Zombies, and seeing what these stars have done so early in life and early in their careers for this franchise, how they took something that was so special to so many wonderful people and really brought it to life, showed so much incentive, and by far so much creative energy, far more creative energy than perhaps ever given credit for. They just recently took home an Emmy Award for Outstanding Hairstyles, and it's not very hard to see why, because the gowns that they wore, the costumes they wore, and the hairstyles were really beautiful. Congratulations to them for that, their latest milestone. And we have so many milestones and moments in history left to experience. So as we look ahead to the future of both Descendants and Zombies, I can't help but feel more excited about your favorite stars' futures and all of your futures, because we're all going to be a part of something so special. So if you have not subscribed here to this YouTube channel, you're probably going to want to go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Hit hit that subscribe button. I know I've been feeling a little under the weather producing these videos, but as the old saying goes, the show must go on. And I've had the time of my life producing the show for thousands of people who have obviously taken something special away from it. Again, guys, from my heart to yours, thank you so much for having made this your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time, and thank you so much for having watched this video, because somewhere out there in that really big universe tonight, I know there's a super fan of Descendants of Zombies watching this video, and she wants to watch a really cool video, and hopefully she saw something special in this video and took something special away from it. From wherever you hear my voice or you're watching this video this morning, thank you so much for allowing me to have been a part of the soundtrack of Descendants of Zombies and representing you as your voice of Descendants of Zombies, having made this your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time. From my heart to yours, thank you so much for having watched this video.